Leeds United are set to play against Millwall tomorrow night, and I will be completely honest with you, I'm feeling significantly less comfortable about this match than I expected to. So, I'm going to preview it by going through some Leeds United news, a deep dive on Millwall, including their recent form, season-long performances, how exactly they tend to set up, how we'll match them, and then the big debate, I think, going into this match, which is PIROE or Joseph to start, and then maybe my predictions, where I'll also ask you for yours. But we're going to start with the Leeds United news because Daniel Farke did his press conference earlier today. I completely missed it, I'll be honest with you, because when these games come in quick succession, you never know when a press conference is going to be, and today it snuck up a little bit. In terms of injury concerns, we have no fresh ones, no one necessarily back yet either, but there was an answer to the question on Isaac Schmidt, because the question was asked as to, well, why has he not been really playing very much? And the response basically was that he's not at the level right now. Had a few illnesses, had a few things keeping him necessarily out of training, which makes things a little bit difficult for him to get up to speed. And I'll be honest with you, I completely get this. If we're in a position where we're basically okay at the moment as things stand, we don't need to rest on Joel Piroe's fitness, not Joel Piroe, thank you, Brian. We don't need to rest on Isaac Schmidt's fitness, then that's fine. We don't need him to play right now, so we've got to take our time, make sure that he gets up to the pace. I think it was Jose Mourinho at one point that said that it takes a second season for someone to be properly ready and at their best. I don't mind waiting our time. I'll be completely honest with you. Firpo is good, Bogle is good, Byram is good. We don't need to rush someone into playing minutes. Chambers really impressed me, as did Giavogi, as did Charlie Crew. So we've got a nice deep squad that we don't need to rush people into the first 11 immediately. And that's why I'm feeling okay. But we're not necessarily talking about Isaac Schmidt in this video, we're talking about the match against Millwall. So let's do a very quick deep dive into Millwall, and their recent form is very, very impressive. They have not lost in the last 5 matches, and their last 3 they've managed to win. But had a little bit of a deeper look rather than just looking at that specific stat, and you look into a little bit more detail, things look like they're set on less of a solid foundation. The last 3 matches that they won were all 1-0 wins, and yeah, that's a victory, but it's not one that you can be 1,000% happy about. They also scored in the match before that, but that was a draw against Derby County the game before that, 0-0 against West Brom, and before that, they lost against Cardiff City. Whilst Millwall are not going to be a walk in the park, because they won't, they are a very decent side, but they've released some weaknesses in past weeks, months, that I think we can massively take advantage of. There's a reason they are where they are right now, and although admittedly where they are is 7th, according to the XG table, they should be up in 3rd, but they are failing to take full advantage of the positions they put themselves in a hell of a lot of the time. Because if you look at season-long performances, and you sort by XG for against sort of thing, they will be the best team that we've faced so far this season. Their expected goal difference right now is at a 7.1, which is huge compared to most of the league. That's 3rd place. In front of them is Borough with an XG difference of 11, and then it's us with 14. In theory, we are the best team in this league, and we are just taking our time to prove it. But when it comes to dealing with Millwall, we need to pay attention to the fact that goals scored, they haven't scored as many as they have created. Goals against, they're about on par. So their finishing isn't quite where it should be at the minute. And to be fair, in recent matches, they have changed the way that they have been set up. Not in terms of formation, because in terms of pure formation, they have been identical throughout this entire season. Throughout the season, it's been a 4-2-3-1, time and time and time and time and time again, mostly captained by Jake Cooper, but it's their possession that's varied a little bit. The most recent time that they drew against Derby County, they had 55% of the ball. Since then, their possession stats have been 39%, 30%, 36%. The game before, when they drew against West Brom, they had 21% of the ball. They do not like having possession, and that tells me that they will try and hit us hard on transitions. And they'll do that sitting deep and waiting for us to play into them, and then they'll win the ball back, and then they attack. Which, combined with a sort of home crowd that is, let's be honest, embracing this at this point, because recently, let's have a quick look at their home fixtures, shall we? They have beaten Burnley at home with 36% of the ball. They've beaten Plymouth Argyle at home with 39% of the ball. They had less possession than Plymouth, and we've seen what Plymouth play like. They drew with Derby, 55% of the ball, so they've seen that having the ball isn't necessarily good for them. And then when we show up, I imagine they will have 0 possession. And at home, they have won more than they have lost. Fair play to them. Because it works, and it's a crowd that is not going to get complainy if their team is sitting off a little bit. So if they're sitting in a low block and they are waiting for us to come and they are then going to try and strike us on the counter, how exactly do we match them? And in terms of changing our system, I don't think we do. I think we've literally just played a game, just then, where we play against a team that we know is going to sit in a low block, that we know we are going to find a way to break down because that's what we do. That is going to eventually make a mistake and will eventually put the ball in the back of the net. And it will take some patience. I do not expect Millwall to roll over for us like Plymouth Argyle did. But I still think we'll do pretty damn well. I'm fairly comfortable at the moment with the system that we've got because we know that Rothwell and Tanaka will control the ball very effectively, and this is where you need that risk-averse style that we tend to play with. That style of, okay, just don't give them the ball, because if we've got the ball, they can't score. Limit transitions, keep the pressure heaped on, and we'll be okay. So, I did title this video, Do We Pick PIROE or Joseph? And I'll be honest with you, this is a fairly difficult conversation to have, but there are teams that you pick PIROE for, and there are teams that you pick Joseph for. And in this specific case, it's screaming Joel PIROE to me. We're not going to be in a position where we need someone to play that intricate pass to cut open the space. We're not in a position where we need a lot of chance creation because they are going to sit deep and we're going to have plenty of opportunities for the midfielders to hold the ball and try and crack a hole in that defence. What we need is PIROE sitting in that 9 position to pick up the ball, and whether he scores the goal or plays that attempted back heel that'll bounce off weirdly for Brendan Aronson, I think his positioning is what we need in this situation. It's not going to be a high energy job for a number 9 in this game, I don't think, unless Millwall completely change what they do. It's going to be a case of gritty, rugged, in the trenches kind of football. And I think at the moment, at this point in his career, PIROE is better suited to that than Mateo Joseph is. And I think that is how we'll get a result here. In terms of predictions, exactly what I just said. Gritty, rugged stuff. And I do not mind if this ends up being a single point because they're not an easy team to play against. Their last 5 matches, they've gone unbeaten. They've gone unbeaten at home since the 14th of September, which is a month and a half. It is not going to be easy to beat them. But I feel like we can. If we do, it smells of 1-0. I'll be completely honest with you, and I desperately hope that we can make that happen. If not, fine. We'll have to go again at the weekend, but I'm desperately hoping for a win in this one. But that's what I think. Also kind of curious about what you guys think, because I've seen a lot of discussion on the Millwall thing. Are they good? Are they bad? Are they middle? Who knows? Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're not yet. You could even become a channel member. That's always really appreciated. Hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you later. And if I hear a single Mill from that stupid fucking home end, I will be livid. I swear to God.